Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our next freelancer interview which is going to be on the WorkSource Health, Wellness and Fitness Business Owners Facebook group. Today, we are very, very lucky to have Kerri Watkins from Kerri Watkins Virtual Solutions with us today to talk all things VAs, which I know everyone wants to know about, because from the questions when you guys join the group, I think every second person is help me with my admin. So yeah, we're going to run through a few things today with Kerri. Welcome, Kerri. How are you?
Thank you, Crystal. Thanks so much for having me, and hi everyone in WorkSource. Very happy to be here.
Oh, thank you so much for being here. Your experience and your knowledge is just going to be so invaluable, and I'm hoping we'll learn a lot of things from you today to help everyone make those really important decisions on finding the right virtual assistants for them. So yeah, before we start, I wanted you, if it's okay, if you can run through and tell us a little bit about you and your business, that would be wonderful.
Hi everyone, Kerri from Kerri Watkins Virtual Solutions. So I support or empower busy, overwhelmed business owners. I get it. I've been running my own business for 16 years. I'm a celebrant in my other world, marriage celebrant. And it's all about having systems in place, automations, and having the right team behind you to support you in your business. I've been doing virtual assistants behind the scenes while I was working in corporate. I started VA in 2018, but I've gone live this year full time out on my own with my own baby, supporting overwhelmed business owners just like you, get their time back, give them the freedom and the flexibility to focus on the money generating tasks, which is the most important, and
Yes.
supporting your clients. Yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Excellent, excellent. So you've been in the admin space for a long time.
25
Yeah, that's
plus years. So I've been supporting all types of
yeah,
businesses, all
yeah,
different roles, from reception, driving a forklift, all the way up to managing teams. So,
yeah,
and doing policies and procedures and websites. And
yeah.
I've had my hands in everything. So I've got a
Okay. Yeah.
good idea of behind the scenes, and I'm also an ideas woman, so I can look at a task or look at a process and see a bigger and better way to do it.
Yes,
So
excellent.
that's we get bogged down sometimes as business owners just doing the thing without actually stepping back and analyzing that. So I
Yeah,
support that as
definitely.
well.
There's definitely a lot of space with streamlining, that's for sure. Um, so what I'd love to know is we get a lot of business owners that have so many different jobs that they need done, so many different jobs they need to outsource. Where do they start? How do they know what to start with first?
Stop and breathe. That's the first step. But one of my favorite tips, Crystal, and you know this from the blog post that I did, is what is one thing you are doing in your business right now that is not lighting your soul on fire? Record yourself doing it and outsource that. So generally you'd be looking at your non-revenue generating tasks. So the things that are sucking up your time, like your
Mm-hmm.
admin, your your calendar management, your email management. A lot of people like to outsource social media.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole other kettle of fish.
Yep.
But basically what I talk to my clients about is breaking it down, having either 5 or 6 columns, just taking yourself offline for even half an hour, splitting up a piece of paper, better to handwrite it, and going through all the tasks and going, right, column one, I don't have time for it. It's something I don't have time for. It's not moving me forward. It
Mm-hmm.
needs to be done, but I don't have time for it. So that's column one. Column two is I don't enjoy doing it. It sucks the life out of me. It's not my wheelhouse. I just don't want to do it. It comes up on my to-do list and I'm like, nope, ignore, ignore,
Yeah.
ignore. So that's column two. Then you've got your tasks that you're not actually skilled at. So it could be, you know, website updates
Yeah.
or keyword optimization, SEO, all those sort of things where you've got to take yourself offline and spend hours researching, you know,
Hmm.
going to YouTube, looking at blog posts, you know, doing all that researchy stuff that you don't, it's not your wheelhouse. You don't have time for it. So that's
No,
column
correct.
3. Then you've got tasks that are repetitive. So it's something that you're doing more than once a day
Hmm.
or more than once a week. Again, record yourself doing it. And that's one of the tasks that you can outsource quickly.
Yeah.
And the 5th one is not the best use of my time. So it could be something that you enjoy doing, you know how to do, but it's not actually moving you forward in your business. So it's not the best use of your time. You could be spending that time going out and doing lead generation, networking events, talking to like spending more time with your clients.
Yes. So,
Um,
like you said,
so that's,
bringing in the revenue instead of sitting
yeah.
there responding to maybe emails.
Or it could be that you just need a bloody day off. You
Mm.
know, like who wants to log off from work and then sit down and do admin every night? Like you've got families, you've got friends, you've got a life too, and you're entitled to have that. Your business is just an extension. Like it's not your whole life.
No,
So
no, that's definitely correct. And I think so many of us too create businesses to have that freedom. So to be able to enjoy that
absolutely.
freedom, there are things that you need to outsource because otherwise that
Yeah.
you won't get that freedom
No.
because
And
it
you need to be
never
able to switch
ends.
off.
Yeah.
You need to be able to switch off, otherwise you're never really on. Like at the end of
No,
the day, if you're not switching off, you're never really on.
no, that's
Um,
correct. And you're not getting the rest and
yeah.
repair and that you need.
Yeah, I do have a sneaky column 6 as well, which
Tell
sometimes I
us.
talk about. So, well, they're the tasks that you actually enjoy doing. So, for myself, I love Canva. I love being creative. I love getting in and having a play. But
Love that. I can't even draw a
is
stick man,
that the
Kerri.
I know, but is
So
that
bad.
the best use of my time?
Mm,
And like, wouldn't I be better off using that time doing an interview with Crystal from the Work Source,
yeah,
networking, supporting my clients, coming up with new ideas that I can support my clients with. Like that is a
definitely.
better use of my time.
Definitely. And we always tend to, when we have a task list, we always tend to, or majority of us tend to move towards the creative side because they're more fun.
Because it's
Yeah.
fun. It's fun. It does light us up, but you know, it's one of those like, Kerri, not today. You know, you've got money
Yeah.
making tasks to do, baby.
Go do
So
your interview, Kerri.
yeah, but I do actually like for myself, because I am a creative, I actually do give myself time in my week to have a play
Yeah,
because you've got to be able to have a play in your business too. Otherwise, what's the
correct.
point? You know? So that's why I say put it in column sneaky 6 because, you
6.
know, sometimes we might need to outsource this. Sometimes we may have some free time or we give ourselves an hour a
Yeah,
week to play with that.
yeah.
But if it's not moving us forward, we've got to scrap
Okay,
it.
so it's a free time column. It's a free
Kind of,
time
sort
column.
of.
Yeah. I like
It's a
that.
not get hung up on it. We know we like it and it needs to
Mm,
go on a list that doesn't suit the other columns because we're
yes.
not ready to get rid of it.
Yes.
So that's why realistically it's a 5 column sheet, but I like to have my 6 because I'm a bit of a rebel and I can't let things go.
Yeah.
So column
I
6.
like that. I like that. What I think trying to stay productive every day is something that a lot of us sort of struggle with. And for me, my thing to stay productive is time blocking. I find that a very effective for me. Otherwise, I start completely going off on a tangent and then realize I haven't ticked off any of the things on my list. So, as a VA, how can you help business owners be more productive?
Be more productive. So being more productive, we've got to remember that not all VAs are the same. There's kind of a fine line. You've got VAs that are task based, and then you've got VAs in your business that are strategic partners that actually want to support you to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a fine line here between a VA just ticking off
Yep.
the tasks And then you've got VAs that are strategic thinkers, they're thinking outside the box in other ways that they can support you. Can they streamline this process? Can they make things easier? Is it a task that doesn't actually need to be done? Like, is there another way to do it, or an automation or something
Yes.
like that?
Yes. Perfect. Yep.
So, as far as boosting productivity, a VA will give you more time for you to do your core business activities, or again, your income revenue generating tasks. They give you a chance to focus on what truly matters in your business, not getting bogged down with all the admin tasks.
Yep.
Depending where you get a VA from, you've got continuous operations. So if you've got overseas VAs, you've got 24/7. You've got someone that can respond to your inquiries 24/7. So you're not sitting there at dinner going, "Oh shit, I've got to respond to this email inquiry." If you've got someone at your back that can do that for you, knows your brand voice, knows all your processes, all
Yeah.
your questions and answers, that sort of thing. They act as an extension of you, kind of like a duplicate you, a mini you,
Yes. Yep.
maybe. There's also the increased flexibility. So you might not need someone to support you every week or every month. It may be a seasonal thing. So you've got that flexibility to bring someone in when you're busy, and then decrease the scope of work when you're quieter.
Yeah, which is something you don't have with a permanent employee.
Absolutely.
So that's something I wanted to point out.
Absolutely.
That's a huge plus with hiring a VA
Huge.
is having that flexibility and that you can scale up and down depending on the season, depending on the time of year, etc. So that's yeah.
You've also got scalability too, like with people learning the role or taking on additional tasks for you, depending on your flexibility, and if you want someone to grow with your business, or are you going to bring someone in at every point? I know for myself, when I started being a virtual assistant, I kind of grew with one of my clients. It was like I started doing just general admin, and then I was content writing for them for their website and doing website updates. Like, it was all within my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
But because they were using a software that I didn't know, I actually had to learn that as well.
Yeah.
So the business owner was flexible enough to let me learn with them and grow with them.
Yeah.
But again, that was taking something off their list. It was like, go research me this system, tell me which is the best one, let's implement it.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And I just want to quickly touch on something you just said before, which was you grew with the business, but you were doing tasks that were within your wheelhouse. So, and that's something that I wanted to quickly jump on, is that when you are hiring a virtual assistant, you need to be finding, obviously, once you've worked the tasks out, you need to be finding those people that do have those particular experiences. So if you are getting somebody to potentially down the track do website updates, things like that, that you need to make sure that they have experience within that particular area.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was just something I sort of jumped on. You are a virtual assistant that does have experience in a lot of different areas, which makes you quite unique. So, but it's always checking, knowing the tasks that you're going to have the VA do and making sure they've got experience. It could be used that you use Klaviyo, and do they have experience using Klaviyo for their emails? Whatever program you're using, just make sure they've got that experience to use those particular things. Otherwise, you're going to spend a lot of time training, and it's not really going to essentially solve the problem. You always need to be hiring people that are smarter than yourself in that particular area. So if you're not a Klaviyo expert, make sure you're finding someone that is.
That is.
Yes.
And understanding too, Crystal, that not like one VA might not suit every single task that you need. So it may be that you need to bring a VA on for this role for 2 hours a week. And then you've got this other role over here that needs 10 hours a week.
Yes.
It's recognizing that different skill sets will be able to do things differently, and we can't all do everything.
100%.
Unfortunately, we're not unicorns.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I have a horn, but
that's my favorite thing that I see out there is I'm looking for a unicorn. No,
Hey,
no.
we get asked. We get asked.
Stop it. They don't exist. They're not real.
I just had one more thing to add
Mm,
to boosting productivity, preventing burnout. So
yes.
that's a huge thing in hiring a VA.
Yeah.
Like you doing all the tasks all the time, every day in, day out, every week, like you're gonna burn out. You really are. Been there, done that.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
and that boosts your productivity because if someone comes in and takes away those mundane tasks, you're getting to spend your energy and your time doing the things that you love. The
Mm.
reason you started your business. No one started a business to do admin and like, if that was in the
No.
beginning of the to run a business, you need to be blah 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 blah. No
Yeah.
one would bloody have a business.
No. No. Definitely not.
And it keeps you energized. So if you've got a VA in your corner that like even someone that you can bounce ideas off,
Mm.
you're keeping fresh, you're positive. Yeah, it's a getting away from the time suck, I think, is
Yeah,
the biggest thing.
definitely. Definitely. And yeah, and like you said, having that person there as well to uh, just to talk to, but also to hand off those tasks is, yeah, it's kind of invaluable in so many different ways. Um, Now, talking about bouncing ideas and tasks onto the VA, a lot of things that we use, a lot of programs that we use have passwords, things like that. A lot of business areas that we are in, so in, allied health space, there is, a lot of security. There's a lot of privacy issues that we sort of all face with. So, as a VA, how do you maintain that security and privacy for your clients?
I guess the number one is to ensure that your VA has security on their own system. So, like they've got using updated software, they've got antivirus, secure networks, that sort of thing. As far as passwords, never share a password. Never.
Mhm.
Don't do it. Use secure platforms. So you've got like Dashlane or LastPass where you
Okay.
can actually enter your password into there and then they get their own account and they will never see your login details. They just go in and they use that link and then that logs into the software.
Right.
Um,
Okay. Excellent.
Given the healthcare area, I would be looking at confidentiality and non-disclosure agreements.
Yep.
Just be mindful of if you are hiring overseas. I mean, unless you're going to go overseas and chase someone, they're worth nothing.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Yep.
so that's definitely one of the advantages of Australian
Yep.
virtual assistants um, and as far as limiting access, so like for your financial software example, you might have a VA come in to do some data entry. They don't need to see all the reporting. So it's
Yeah.
about limiting what access you can.
Yeah, majority of
Using
a
like
lot of the programs do that, don't they? They limit the access for them. So
because you
even
should be able to add in like
Shopify and
admin or something.
mm,
Like even with your social media platforms, you can add like an editor or an
yes, yep,
admin. Never, you don't even have to give them a password.
mm,
That way they can access your account through Meta. What else
yep,
have we got? We've got like using secure platforms for any communication. So like Asana, Trello, Monday, that sort of thing is a good place to manage your tasks. So you can
hmm
add tasks in there, and then you've got because those systems are secure, you don't need to worry about the
the
information.
security, yep,
Yeah.
yeah,
What else have we got?
I like
And
that.
making sure that we do regular security audits. So checking that the access that you've given your VA is still relevant. Like,
Yeah,
if you've got someone with you in 3 months' time, is that access still relevant? Are they still doing that task? If not, take it away. They don't need to have it full time.
yes, yes, definitely. I think yeah, I've got have actually done that. You've just reminded me. I had someone doing
Make sure you check.
yeah, someone. I'm just wait. Yeah. Okay. I've got that down as a note now. That's terrible. Um,
Awesome. taught someone something today.
Yes, thank you, Kerri. Person will be taken off my list. Yeah, they did some website updates and same thing, access through the website, but through but saying, well, like what you were saying, I only gave them access to the particular portion that they needed to get into. So there was no member information that they could access. They couldn't see payment details, anything like that. It
Yeah.
was basically a content section. So yes, but yeah, just
And
like
it's amazing.
getting
Like
rid
you
of them.
start writing down a list of all the things that your VA will need access to.
Yeah,
And I think like
a
also
lot.
having like a document for yourself that as you're granting them access, you keep that list because you're not
Yes.
going to remember in 3 months, what
No.
did I actually give them access to? So it's about having those sort of policies in place as well.
Yes, definitely. So keeping yourself safe as well as sort of
And
making
your
sure the
client, like at
VA
the end of the
safe.
day, your clients.
Yes, 100%. Um, the other thing I wanted to ask about was once you've done a lot of work for a client, how do we get reports or updates from you? So what can we sort of expect to see, yeah, what you've been doing?
So this will be different again for different tasks. So if we break it down, I guess the number one rule is clear communication from the start. You've got to have that clear
Yeah.
communication. Are we going to have a weekly check-in? How are we going to check in? Like, is that going to be a meeting? Is that going to be an email? Or are we just going to manage our tasks from like, again, Asana, Trello, Monday, something like that?
Yeah.
So
Do
that
VAs change that to suit the client? So if a client would prefer Zoom chats like this versus or that they just don't have time, they prefer emails or actual face to face, is that something that VAs would generally work within or
Absolutely. So 9 times out of 10, a VA will work with you on
yeah,
your preferred method.
okay.
I would just be probably a little bit more lenient on the face-to-face meetings because if you're hiring a virtual assistant, the whole idea is that they work virtually. But having said that, if you've got a local VA,
Mm,
they may be able to come in and have meetings. So myself, I'm based on Moreton Island and I only come back to the mainland 1 week a month. So in-person meetings for myself is not possible.
not possible.
Um, but depending on the task as well, like it might be where you want someone to come into an office and do processes or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
then you would make allowances for that sort of
Yep.
it would all depend on task. Um, but again, coming back to communication, I think that's the most important part. Like when you are bringing on a virtual assistant, what are your expectations? So what are your communication expectations? And also remembering that most VAs are business owners, so they will have their expectations as well. Like for myself, I like this. I like to be able to see you. I like to be able to have a chat. So anyone that says to me, Kerri, I never want a video meeting with you, I'm kind of like, not kind of how I work.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so that's something to consider though, because if you in your business can't find 1 hour a month or depending on the task, 1 hour a week, if you don't have that time, then you need to consider a different virtual assistant. It's
Mm.
all coming back to finding someone that works with you and for you.
Yeah, I love that. Yep.
But yeah, so setting those expectations early, it might be a weekly check-in, it might be an email check-in, it might be a report. So if someone's managing your social media, you might have a spreadsheet that you want filled in every week of how many new followers, how many engagements, what's our top performing
Yeah, okay.
post, that sort
Yeah.
of thing. Or it could be how many clients have we responded to. Like it really depends on the task as to
Right.
what kind of report you're going to get.
Yeah.
Um, but again, it would be all about having that communication up front and what the expectations are. And
So being
if any
very
VA tells
clear
you,
from the
no, we're
start.
not going to give you a report, I'd kind of be like, well, I need
Yeah.
a report.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Definitely. So being very
And
clear at the
sorry,
start, yeah, is
yeah, absolutely. And like another thing, if you're paying your VA by the hour,
hmm
I would at least be expecting like some sort of timesheet. So there's enough tools out there like Clockify or Toggle
okay. Yeah, yeah.
where where when I'm working on your task, I can actually hit start and work on that task and then stop. So it will give you an outline of the task that I've worked on, how long I've worked for,
Yeah.
how many hours are in your package, all that sort of
All
thing.
that stuff. And with the tasks, the times, what I always highly recommend before sending those tasks out to a VA is to do them yourself. Time them and do
Absolutely.
them yourself. See how long it takes you. You get handed a content strategy. See how long it takes you to create a week's worth of social media posts. See how long it takes you to go through responding to client emails, making bookings, things like that. So that way you have an expectation right from the start on how long something is going to take, or it should take. Otherwise, you're kind of
And
flying
hopefully
blind.
quicker.
Yes,
Because remember, this is our wheelhouse. This is our
yes,
zone of genius. Because they're the tasks that we're getting rid of, are the things that are sucking our time. So, like, if we know something takes us an hour and it's not our wheelhouse, we would expect our VA to be doing it in less than an hour.
doing it less. Yeah, definitely. But having
But
having
a
a
lot of
general
VA,
idea is good.
yeah, absolutely. Having a general idea. And a lot of VAs also don't do the hourly because you'd have to speak to your accountant. But if you've got an hourly rate, you may have to pay super. So just something to be mindful
Hmm.
of. Speak with your accountant. But a lot of VAs will work on outcome base. So, you're going to get 30 social media posts this month. I'm going to write the content writing, the caption writing. I'm going to
Beautiful. Yeah,
research. I'm going to do your actual Canva graphics, and then I'm going to schedule them, and then I'm going to report on it once a month, and this is going to cost you this
yeah,
instead of like an hourly rate.
yeah. Okay. No, that's excellent. That makes so much sense. To getting it all sort of right from the start, getting the connection
Yeah,
and the interaction right from the start, being as clear as you can. Um, yeah, it's imperative to a successful working relationship, I think. Um,
absolutely.
Now, my last question, and actually my favorite of the whole thing, and that is the difference. Can you tell us the difference between a good VA and a great VA?
This is a tough one, Crystal.
Testing
I
you.
get I guess the biggest thing is I'm all about communication and remembering that the skill set. So not one VA cannot do everything. So it's remembering that you're hiring someone in their skill set, in their zone of genius, but that may be five different VAs for your
Mm,
company or for your business. Um, so and things to look for, I guess, the difference between a good VA and a great VA is a good VA is going to tick off tasks for you. Just tick, tick. Yep, you want me to do that? I'm going to do that tick. A
so that's a
great VA is,
task-based VA. Yep.
yeah, I think so. And a great VA is going to come back and say, hey, Crystal, I found an easier way. Why are we doing it this way? Why can we trial this? This is my idea. This is why I think this is going to work
Hmm.
better. This is going to save you time. It's going to save you money. So straight away, you know that the great VA is invested in you. They're invested in your business. They want to streamline things. They want to make things great for you. But a good VA will get the task done for you.
Yeah.
But a great VA is going to work with you, support you, grow you, bounce ideas off with you and save you money, like, and that's
Yeah.
that's where I'd want to be because I want to offer my client the best experience. Therefore, I'm going to hire a great VA to support me.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. Yeah.
So you've got like the proactivity, you've got your critical thinking, strong communication. So you don't want a good VA sitting there going, okay, I've got this task. I can rewatch the Loom video that Crystal created for me. But a great VA is going to go, hey, Crystal, I'm not sure if you missed this part in your
Mm,
Loom video, but I think there's an extra step here. Can we have a quick chat about
yeah.
that? They're going to clarify. Again, thinking
Yeah. I
outside
love
the
that.
box, see the bigger picture.
Instead of just ticking the list off.
Adaptability. Yeah, adaptability. Hey, Kerri, I've got this new system. Do you have any knowledge or experience? No, but I know someone that does. Let me have a chat to them. Let's bring it in, blah, 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 blah. Get the
Yeah.
thing done.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, and ownership of the role. So a good VA is going to, like I said, tick those tasks. They're going to have those tasks done for you every week. You're not going to have to ask questions, like you're not going to have to ask them where the tasks are because they're a good VA. They're doing the tasks. But a great VA is going to come back and say, hey, I also did this for you. I know it wasn't on your task list, but I could see it needed to be done.
Yeah.
And, I've done this because I did that last month. It wasn't on this month's list, but I know that you needed it done. I've done it for you. Like they're thinking outside the box all the time and they're asking questions. Like
Yeah.
they might be annoying like me and ask questions, but it's like at the end of the day, we have your best interest at
Yes.
heart, and a great VA is going to work with you, not for you.
Yeah. I love
A
that.
strategic business partner, I like to think of it as.
Yes. I love that. And I think you really nailed it. When you were saying that they ask the questions, they identify areas of improvement. They don't just click through a list. I mean, there's definitely people for that, but I think
Absolutely.
to get the
And there's tasks for
most,
that.
yeah, 100%, to get the most
Yeah.
value out of having a VA and to really help propel that business forward is having someone there that can identify sort of different areas of weakness and make the improvements, because it helps you, it helps them, and ultimately saves you money because they've streamlined a process that um, is saving time and money. So yeah, it's
To get another task off your list.
yeah, definitely. It's I love that. I'm going to pause this. We got 6 minutes. So what I'm going to do is, oh, not that one. Stop recording. Kerri, I just want to thank you so much for coming on today and chatting with us. All things VA, like I said at the start, your knowledge is exceptional, and I think you've really helped so many of us. When it comes to choosing the right VA. So where can everybody find you? I will also put your link to your WorkSource profile down in the comments here. But yeah, where can we all find you?
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Crystal, for having me. And I've just got two final quick little tasks or little tips for you for hiring a great VA. So, number one, like at the beginning, I said about finding that task that doesn't light your soul on fire, recording it, outsourcing it. Start with that. That can be your trial project. If that person works out, awesome. If that person doesn't, it's okay. Go back to the drawing board. And the other one is make sure you actually interview your VA. Don't just hand off a task. Make sure you actually get on a call with them, ask some questions, not just about the task, but about their behavior. Because at the end of the day, skills can be taught, personality can't. If you're not vibing, you ain't gonna work. And communication.
Yes.
And that's it. I'm off my horse now. But yeah, you can find me mostly on LinkedIn. I'm not going to admit to having very good socials. I despise social media, but I'm on LinkedIn and also at kerriwatkins.com.au.
Excellent. Thank you again so much, Kerri. I loved having you on here.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Crystal.
enjoy the rest of your day. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. All right.